Jolan true Centurions, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates. I am Rear Admiral Tarek of the Dreadnought RAS Galea X-Ray as we continue our campaign against the United Federation of Planets, and things are going quite well. Last time we have successfully managed to secure our lines of communication. No longer are we subject to just losing a single tile, and thus the entire sort of bulge, I guess, that we've got going on here. And today I think we're going to work on trying to cut off this little snaky part here, and that means our primary target will be either 1110 or 11.9, because that'll cut this whole thing out of supplies. We are relatively undamaged, but we may as well go home and just for the sake of things, get things patched up, double check that we're good on this. We have enough to maintain operations here, so let us push out for our intended target, which should be here. And wow, we are right between two stations. So this should be somewhat of a difficult position to take and keep gray or green, hopefully. Because, yeah, set up like that, they're going to be exerting a lot of influence. But anyway, on to the battle. Increased speed. We're currently staring across from a frigate and a freighter. Currently escorted by the Orcus and the Double Down. Which, yeah, either one of these ships could easily take on whatever it is we're currently fighting. What kind of frigate? I'm going to guess a DWV, because we've been running into a lot of those lately, and it is a DDL+. Okay, so you're going to have plasma torpedoes. So we are going to set up our own Wild Weasel. It's only 2 plasma F torpedoes, but it's something. And a third Challenger has appeared. It's another freighter. And what type are you? You're an FT-1R. 3 to 4 phaser 3s. So no concern there. But the FQS will have a photon torpedo, for whatever that's worth to you. And we could probably increase speed, but we could also probably take all of that damage on the forward shield and not even care if we really wanted to. You know, I was getting all excited kind of to like test out using expanding enveloping plasma torpedoes on a capital ship, because GTA has been schooling me on the art of plasma torpedoes. And I was going to set up the R's and the S's to do full enveloping attack and sort of see what kind of speed that was going to limit it to us, because the enveloping plasma torpedo does take a considerable amount of power more than what we normally have to deal with. Incoming photon torpedo misses entirely. We'll set up for our pseudo assault, and I think we can fire this at 20. He'll probably flinch at that point. So that many random plasma torpedoes, all of them fakes, because our torpedoes actually weren't even fully ready for that time. I'm anticipating the Wild Weasel at any moment now. There it is. Stops on a dime. And we're just going to swing around, and if we can swing far enough around, then we can really get away from these plasma F torpedoes. I'm going to bet they're half mounts. They might not be, but it is a plus refit, so they might not be, but if we're lucky, it'll be a narrow forward band. I know on the BC... don't remember which one it is. The BCF, the Bismarck class. That uses plasma F torpedoes, and they are a wow, I'm just stammering all over the place there. They are a they're a full half arc firing. So we're lined up, everything you've got right on top of him. Hopefully he won't have another shuttle ready to go. Let's have tractor set up, and wow, okay. I shouldn't be too surprised. I mean, he was a destroyer, and we are most certainly not. But still, it's always impressive when you see that completely get shattered. 2 phaser 1s, a phaser 3, and a single photon torpedo. Not exactly the heaviest weapon armament out there. Unfortunately, we don't have any heavy weapons and won't for 3 turns. Let's slow down a little bit and shut off our current reinforcement that we are giving to our drone defense system. And as we come through, I think the stern might actually be able to kill you. Yep, taking him out, and just onto that FTR. Which I was wrong, it's not 4 phaser 3s, it's 2 phaser 3s and a single B-rack missile launcher. And also, no, those are friendly fighters. Probably launched from our good friend, the Double Down. What are you? Probably a dispensed Wild Weasel, I'm gonna guess? Or maybe just a random piece of space debris, which is just taking up space. So we'll come on in and take on this last of the little tiny freighters. Yeah, you guys never really stood a chance. Although, if we can cut this off, I assume that we'll fight even weaker opponents. Well, not that you can get much weaker than this. Yeah, seriously, that shuttle is kind of bugging me that it's still there. So, lined up, we got the phasers ready to rock. Point blank range shot. Managed to cut a whole bunch of holes through the enemy ship, and our stern firing phasers take care of the whole deal. Nice work, everybody. we were able to take on 2 freighters and a DDL. I can't decide if the DDL Plus is a good ship or not, because part of me really thinks it likely suffers from the same problems that the normal DD suffers from. And by giving it even more power-hungry plasma torpedoes, you really haven't resolved the issue. So we have managed to sever the connection. Unfortunately, we must also now deal with this starbase, which could be a significant problem. Although, we are probably better placed to take on starbases than any other ship we've ever commanded. And it's the random mission where there's a random thing in the middle. And transporters, please. There's nothing to beam out, so we're not even going to pay any attention to it. We're just going to increase speed. Get up to combat speeds here, so that we can go after whoever shows up. Which I was expecting sometime sooner, but they are not here. So let's increase the speed of time so we can actually figure out what it is we are fighting. And it is indeed a dreadnought. I'm going to guess you're either a light dreadnought or an early dreadnought, but I'm guessing light because yep, light dreadnought. You can tell based on the shape of the saucer design, DNL. You know, we're going to use the expanding plasma torpedo, or enveloping plasma torpedo thing. So if we set you to enveloping, that takes like 2 additional points of power. That takes like 2.5 points of power. That takes like 1.4. What? I don't think I read that right, but that's fine. Increase the speed of time. We have a long time to finish charging these weapons. This is basically the equivalent of overloading the weapons. And prepare the pseudo-torpedo for assault. Unfortunately, I'm not sure our enveloping plasma torpedoes are going to be ready in time. Oh, it's going to be close, because they've got one more tick to turn on. And I'm anticipating a no wild lethal response. Okay, you're traveling more than fast enough that I can guarantee you won't be able to stop. Okay, so it really is sandpaper. We've taken out basically his entire forward set of shields. And there goes him. Didn't actually manage to get much damage through. I'm not really sold on it as a tactic, honestly. We took out his shields where we hit him with the F-type plasma torpedoes. We did 11 damage to the hull. But the phrase that they use in the manual is to sandpaper shields, and I now fully understand why. He's not horrifically hurt by this, although this does work more towards the long game. And really, if I were Gorn, I'd be a lot more in favor of this tactic, because Gorn has a lot of sustained firepower. So with Romulans, we've got, what, 5 phasers that we can fire in a forward arc. And let's let the point defense systems handle these before we, shoot at him. We don't want to be held by you. Beam struggle. Come over here. Repel. Go. So with the Gorn, you have a lot of phaser hardpoints that can be used in a variety of ways. Not least of which is to... Fortunately, we didn't quite repel him fast enough. Not least of which, of course, is a long sustained gun battle, which Gorn do very well. Probably better than Federation, if I'm honest, because, the Gorn have better armor, and so it can really tank a lot of damage. You're just being annoying now. I'm gonna hurt you badly with a lot of weapons. It's almost been 3 turns. You're gonna suffer. The reason why I'm a little less convinced that Romulans with expanding plasma or enveloping plasma torpedoes is kind of as good really just comes down to the fact that we have nothing to follow it up. Okay, that's what I was expecting. Can I target the shuttle? I know there's a button to target closest shuttle or something. We'll fire Phase 3. There we go. That's dead. And we'll prepare for a high energy turn. The USS Powell. So I don't know what my follow-up is supposed to be after I, weaken all of his shields, because my phasers, I only have a couple of them. They're not going to do a ton of damage. And I really kind of get the feeling that if I had just fired right on into him, I would have dealt 80, 90 damage, and that would have given him more power problems to deal with in long fight. Could be wrong on that, but that's just my very, very initial first impression fighting a DNL. Now that's not really indicative of, the heavier capital ships that we expect to fight. I mean, dreadnoughts, like proper DNHs, it might be worth it, because then it will allow us in those intervening turns to be much more effective fighting on the flanks. So I guess I can see that, but really, I really would want to do that initial burst damage just to rob him of power. And Federation ships they don't tend to have power problems so much, but they really are affected by it because they have so many phasers. Once they finish charging, they're in a great space, but until that happens, it's a problem for them. I'm going to have to put more thought into this. I'm going to have to try this tactic out several more times before I really come to any sort of actual verdict on it. Dealing a decent amount of damage here. How are you on Marines? Go, Marines. Your ship is mine. Increase the speed of them. Oh, he's fired missiles. Oh no, what shall we do? So we're just going to get out here, wait for my Marines to do their job, and steal the whole ship. Not exactly the most efficient way to do this, but because, you know, he wasn't down to 2 Marines, which is, I think, the lowest you can possibly get. In 8 campaigns that we have played on this, that is the lowest we've ever been able to get a ship or planet. We've stolen the Powell, an excellent capture. DNL's rather old for this time period, and I wonder if the DNL-X will, if it exists, because that would be interesting. 356 prestige, no bonus, because I guess he was too badly damaged, and it's going to take some effort to capture that. We're going to go on a convoy right out here. Maybe we can take this planet. That would be really helpful. That would help shove our influence on them, make them have to deal with that kind of pain. All hands to battle stations, increase speed. We are escorted by nobody and currently only see a single freighter and a frigate. Interesting. So are you... Okay, so you're an actual frigate. What type are you according to the fleet manager? You are an FCR? No idea. You are somewhat better freighter than I would expect. Let's increase our speed up to as fast as we can possibly get and assume that this FCR... Was it? Whatever. Let's assume that he's not equipped with plasma. There's 2 frigates here. Oh, okay. That's actually really weird. So FCR-X and FCR-R. So this one has the R-type refit. That's a phaser 3 mount that covers the stern. This has the X-type refit, which means all of its phasers will be set up to defend itself. And then, of course, there's the Federation Express, who is zooming through here, and a light cruiser. Okay, now I'm really confused. What's going on here? So we've got a light cruiser, an FCR, and a second FCR, and a light cruiser out here. And this light cruiser is an ECLR, so an escort light cruiser with the R-type refit. What is going on here? I'm a little confused on this convoy mission. We should be able to do just fine, though. So let's pick up a little bit more speed, because we do have to actually get here. And we're going to deploy our pseudo-frigates to go destroy the whole convoy. Oh, no, I want you to go attack. Thank you. And you to attack. And you... I know it's his frigate, but I don't really believe it. To attack, and you to attack. And then we'll focus on the escort light cruiser. Prepare the pseudo-torpedoes. We will immediately open fire with that. I get the feeling this tactic wouldn't actually work against another player. Or maybe it would, because can you really afford to take the chance that this is not real? Oh, it's the derpy little design. It is cute. I kind of wish that there was a modern version of this instead of just the strike cruiser design with the slanted nacelles, because I kind of like the alternative design path that they were going for. So the USS Grant, we really need to come around and protect our little guys. Oh, he's only armed with... Oh, that's kind of sad, actually. 2 Gatling phasers, 2 G-type missile launchers. Slow down. We don't want to get too close. All the torpedoes. He fired it at our pseudo frigate. Open fire with everything you've got. We've got to weaken him so he can't hurt us. Okay, good. That's the first one down. That's a lot of plasma. You guys, I told you to go kill, you know... No, so you're legitimately an actual fighting frigate. You're not just a freighter. Interesting. So this is a super heavy... Well, not super heavy defended convoy. This is a very numerously defended convoy, I guess. So the Zadov and the Ushakov. So I think we're going to help out over here first, simply because they're closer. But we probably do need to get over here to handle this FCRR. And he's equipped with, not Phaser 3s. He is. He's got Phaser X's. Get a nice big blast in there. Every point of power that a Federation frigate loses is a much bigger deal. Because, well, it takes them only 0.3 points of engine power to move, so every point of power they lose is a big deal. And because he's an X-type ship, he does have upgraded missiles, which is one of the things that makes me certain that I can change the loadout of fighters on a carrier. And again, I keep talking about this, but I am going to have to get in there and see if I can't find the ship list and see if I can fix that, because that would be awesome. Because then we would go through and use subject carriers specifically based on probably time period of introduction. I think that would make the most sense. Because it does tend to grab the most modern freighter. So we've destroyed the freighter that was all the way... Oh, no, we haven't. This is the one that I thought they had destroyed, but they did not. It is counting these FCRRs as actual freighters, then. Interesting. I want to fire the R. In fact, I'm going to do this. Oh, I can't because I'm still loading the pseudo-torpedo. So we will have to fire, of course, an S-type plasma torpedo towards him. I'm going to anticipate a Wild Weasel response. That would make the most sense. Have some sense of self-preservation, man. I don't want you to die. And there he goes. He's deployed his Wild Weasel. We're going to go around a bit, and then we'll come back in and basically unload everything we have on him. Looks like our little buddy over here has finished his work. Excellent. And he's lost his defenses. R-type plasma torpedo right in the front. We'll follow up with an S if he survives. He survived. Prepare for an F-type plasma torpedo. Didn't need it. And we're down to the last one, an FNT. Oh no, we've also got the Federation Express. I would capture you, but I don't think you're going to survive. Can I hail him? Oh, he's got no people on board, so no point. Phasers. Federation Express is no more. And on to the last one, the Mercury. How sad for you to be caught out here like this. There shall be no survivors. Are we really going along trundling slow, or... kind of get that feeling. So he's got 2 people on board. Not that we're going to capture him. We've done or tried the capture game before. Never really works out as well as we'd like. Although our pseudo frigates did take quite a bit of damage on this one. I mean, I suppose flying close to that escort light cruiser was a bit of a mistake. Could have been much worse. 2 Gatling phasers is a lot of shots. It's basically 8 phaser 3 shots. I don't think I'm going to need to add my firepower to this. Nah, the pseudo frigates, they got it. They're an excellent piece of equipment. Still not convinced that they're quite useful on a base assault. Because, you know, those phaser 4s are ungodly powerful. But for this sort of work, oh god, are they incredibly useful. Love them. 232 prestige, the entire convoy defeated. Planet not taken, but we weren't expecting to. Come over here, another patrol. Good, we would like to avoid a base assault. I don't want to actually have to test my theories on enveloping plasma torpedoes. Red alert, increased speed. We're looking at a light cruiser. It is an Orion light cruiser. Transporter room says there's nothing on board to care about, so I will not. Increase the speed of time. Who are we dueling with? Anybody out there? Somebody. Nope, nobody yet. There you are. It's a heavy cruiser. And I'm going to assume a new command cruiser? No, an NAX. New auxiliary cruiser? Not sure. Let's go to our heavy torpedoes, and again, we're going to set, heavy torpedoes. We're going to set them to enveloping again. We're going to keep trying this out just a little bit, see if there's a sweet spot for it. And any damage that gets through does hit the hull. So, and hull damage will be done at full strength. As opposed to if we, you're not a Miranda type. I was half expecting. So, slow down the speed of time to all torpedoes on the pseudo. This will elicit the response we want. He is slowing down. And I'm assuming that you're going to respond to this. Yeah, there it is. That's what we were assuming you were going to do. Oh no, they were all fake. What can we do? Wow, he's actually surprisingly heavily armed. Kind of like this triple cell design, at least from the side. Really is pretty cool. And as soon as he starts speeding up, we'll probably hook in. Because it's going to take us some time to charge this up. Prepare all heavy plasma torpedoes. Here we go. All torpedoes. There's no defense. So I was anticipating more damage. I was anticipating all of his shields going down. I suppose I was anticipating wrong. However, he has lost most of... well, he's lost most of his shields. His forward shield is still surprisingly heavily intact. I guess he hasn't lost most of his shields, but most of his shields have been reduced severely. I wonder if there's a limit to that. He's lost his shuttle bay. That'll be relatively important. And he currently has one of those photon torpedoes is shocked, as according to our last information, which I assume is being repaired. And the other one is probably online. We'll know very shortly. And we really do need to get this shield away from him. I'm anticipating a photon torpedo response any moment now, unless they really did both die, which I don't think they did. Or did you fire all of your photon torpedoes at that ship? Oh, wrong turn. That was bad. I was setting a long turn so I could rub my nose, and nope, that was bad. The Powell, again, returning from the dead. Tractor defenses are engaged. Flash out with phasers, try and cause some pain. Reverse the turn so we can get the other side going. Let's get as much fire as we can on through. Are you an X-type? Yeah, you are an X-type ship. That makes you very dangerous. Not incredibly dangerous. I mean, he is, after all, in not a great way. I was hoping I could lead him into that. Nope, he's not going to be stupid. To be fair, that was rather, far away to drop. More missiles. And any stern-firing phasers? A 74% chance. What do you think? Sure, let's try it. We have the opportunity to kill him right here, right now. I'm going to try it. Oh, my rolling in this game is so much better than in Warhammer. Goodbye. Yes. That is exactly what we wanted to see. Now, I know I've been told, GTA has told me that this is one of the larger dreadnoughts, but in this game, for some reason, it is classified as a light dreadnought. The reason I say this is because it's on the exact same hull as the light dreadnought that we were in before, and it has a 100% chance of doing high energy turns once. So we have neutralized the tile here, and the tile here. So the tiles of 1110 and 11.9 have both been neutralized, but not taken, and we've put a little bit of a push onto the planet at 1010, which could be pretty important for holding this corner. But that will bring us to the end of an episode right there. We have cut off this little branch. They are now withering on the vine. We will have to keep the pressure up to make sure the Federation cannot recover from that, which will also conveniently keep the Klingons out of this part of space. We do, after all, want to take the entirety of the Federation for ourselves. Anyway, I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.